Right. So in this second part, we're going to look at fractions divided by fractions. And that's quite interesting because we're trying to find out now how many of these fit into this, right? 3/4 divided by a quarter, that's what it's saying. How many quarters fit into 3/4? Well, that is common sense. I mean, how many of these fit into this? You can see how many of these make 3/4. So that's one, that's two, that's three. And so you got the answer 3. And the flipping thing, you know the logic of flipping. So when you turn this, go back to the inverse of division. To divide by 1/4 is the same as to multiply by 4. So if you multiply this by 4 over 1, you'll get these two disappear. 4/4 become 1. They reduce to 1, and so 3 times 1, and the answer is 3. You see how easily you can get this answer just through the mathematical operation. Otherwise, you'd have to think about it like this with pictures. So let's try this one. 3/4 divided by half. What fraction of 3/4 is a half? It means this is small, this is large. So how many of these fit into this is basically what we're saying. So, okay, let's look at this. This is 3/4. That's 3/4 here divided by half. That means how many of these fit into that, right? So let's see. That was 3/4. So we know that one of them certainly fits in there. So we'll say 1/2 fits in there because this is a half. How many halves fit into 3/4? We just found out that 1/2 fits into that. We've done that. And now we need to know, what about this bit left here? What part of this fits into this? So what fraction of half is this? This is what part of this? So if we slide it over, you can see that it's exactly half of this, right? So it's half of that. So we can add another bit, half of the original half. So 1/2 and half of the half. So that's altogether 1.5, and that's your answer. So 1/2 fits into 3/4, and half of this half fits into 3/4. We can come to that conclusion anyway by doing the flip thing. Remember, instead of dividing by half, you multiply by 2. And that's when you get 2 over 1, multiply 3 times 2. Well, actually 2 and 4 reduce 1 over 2. And then you multiply 3 times 1, 3 and 2. 3/2, which is the same as 1.5. You see how math makes it a lot easier. So that's the right answer. So what fraction of 3/4? What fraction of 3/4 fits into 1/4? What part of this fits into that? Well, that's pretty obvious. 1/3 of this, isn't it? This is 3 parts, and one of those parts would be 1/3. This fits into that, so I'd say it's just 1/3 of the 3/4. So that means the answer is 1/3. So we can find that answer anyway by flipping it, and this is reduced to 1, and so the answer is 1/3. And we got that through mathematics, just mathematical operations. So now that you understand the flipping bit, it becomes very easy. What's half divided by a quarter? Asking how many quarters fit into a half. Obviously, it'll be a 2. So half multiplied by 4 over 1, and this reduces, or we can write 4 over 2, and the answer is 2. There you go. Try this one. What's the answer to this? What will you do here? Yes, we write quarter, and instead of divided by 3/4, we multiply it by its flipped version. So what will we write here? What do you want me to write here? Times 4/3. Very good. And now 4 and 4 reduces, or we can multiply 1 and 4. 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And reduce 4/12 becomes what? 1/3. Very good. So that's the answer. You can also reduce 4 and 4, and you just get 1/3 for the answer. Up to you how you want to do it. I strongly recommend that you reduce as much as you can. Now, if you have mixed fractions or mixed numbers, turn these all into thirds and turn these all into ninths. So how many thirds do you have here? 26 thirds. And how many ninths do you have there? 13 ninths. Okay, so 26 thirds divided by 13 ninths, the same as 26 thirds multiplied by, that's right, 9/13. And there's a lot of reducing to be done here, like 3 and 9 reduces to 3 and 1, and 13 and 26, well, this is half of 13, so this, we divide both 13 and 26, reduce it, becomes 1 and 2. Now you multiply across, you have 6, multiply across, that's your answer. So 6 of these fit into this. Okay, try this one. How many of these fit into that? 2 3/4. What do you do now? The first thing you do is don't accept the mixed fractions. Turn this into improper fractions, which is basically saying change these all into fourths. That's 11/4. Change this all into thirds. That's 4/3. And then you do the division, means you 11/4. You divide by 4/3. You flip it over and multiply. And now you can reduce if you can. There's nothing that reduces, so you just multiply across. You get 33/16, which is 2 wholes and 1/16. That's it. You get the idea. Now some vocabulary about fractions and divisions. What fraction of 5/7 fits into 3/5? Now the trick is, you see the red part here and this is the blue part. Where does the red go? Inside this circle or inside this square? That goes for the blue. Does the blue go here or here? One holds the red and the other holds blue. Which one's where? What fraction of 5/7 fits into 3/5? If it fits into 3/5, that means you're asking for this thing. If that's A and that's B, then this is the thing in which this fits into. So B will come over there. And this is the thing that's going inside this original fraction. So remember, the original fraction into which things are being fitted is the first one. And so 3/5 will come over there, and 5/7 will come over there, right? So it's actually 3/5 divided by 5/7. So when you look at this, right away you know it means 3/5 divided by 5/7. Practice this a bit so they get used to it. How many 2/3, okay, that's A, fit into 3/8? The moment you see fit into 3/8, you know right away that this is going into this. That's the usual format. That's the rule by which we write down division of fractions. This is fitting into the first one. The first one is the big guy or the small guy. You have to find out what part of this fits into that. So 3/8, which is B, would go over there and A would go over there. Got it? So this is 3/8 and 2/3 would be there. And so this is 3/8 divided by 2/3. That's what this question translates itself into. And now you try this one. 3/5 is what fraction of 1/2? Now this is slightly different because we were asking 3/5 is what fraction of 1/2? We always look at this number and see what part of this is this, right? Or how many of these is this? So if he's asking 3/5 is what fraction of 1/2, that means this must be B. And what part of this is this? That must be A. So 3/5, this would be half, this would be 3/5, and that's what you divide. And you can actually work it out. If you actually divide these two numbers, that means multiply it and flip it over, you'll get something like 6/5. And if you look at 6/5, 3/5 is what fraction of 1/2? If you do 6/5 of 1/2, 6/5 of 1/2 would be 3/5. That's what you need to understand, this kind of vocabulary of fractions and mathematics, so you know exactly, you understand what it means. Now let's do this problem. A box is filled to the top with wooden planks, and this box is 8 2/3 centimeters in height. So this height of this box is 8 2/3 centimeters. If each plank is 1 4/9 centimeters thick, so imagine that's a plank and it's 1 4/9 centimeters thick. How many planks are in the box? How many of these planks would fit into this box? Now notice, the moment you're talking about how many of these fit into this is the first fraction, 8 2/3. And so how many 1 4/9 fit into 8 2/3? So 8 2/3 comes first, 1 4/9 comes afterwards, with the division sign in between. Change this into thirds, change this into ninths, and bingo, you have the answer. That's 1 and 2 reduced, that's 1 and 3 reduced, and the answer is 6 planks. And there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planks inside that box. So that's how we solve word problems. So that's it. Enough for this session. You've got it all under wraps. A lot of this practice will come when you do problem-solving practices, which will follow in the clips to come. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.